So for mine, my two girls that I created are actually based on two of my very, very close friends. One I've been friends with since we're actually like 12, 13, so really sort of the peak of like body awareness, body self-consciousness. We've sort of grown up through that weird puberty awkwardness together, and I've seen kind of her feelings about her body develop because we've been so close through that. The other was a friend in high school, which, you know, also sort of a body conscious time. And they were both kind of on opposite ends of that body image skinny fat spectrum, where women are taught that they have to have not only a thin body, but a very specifically built thin body to meet this sort of ideal and to be beautiful and essentially to be worthwhile. And I think that they both felt that they had shortcomings that way, which was silly to me because they're both such beautiful girls and they both have such amazing personalities that sort of come through in their physical shape, which, you know, as an artist is just like super fun to draw and really cool. So the first one was Samantha, who was a little bit more curvy. She's very adventurous. She has like a little bit of a shaved head now, but I think in the illustration her hair is still all curly. She, growing up, you know, she hated that she had these curves. She hated that she had curly hair and just like couldn't quite wrap her head around the idea that it was so beautiful to so many people because it wasn't what was presented to her in magazines and advertisements and any of that kind of media that gets fed to girls. There isn't a curly-haired Barbie, you know? And so to draw her and to sort of bring about, to sort of show her character through these parts of her body, through this way that she's a very dynamic person, she's got a lot of energy, she's really sassy, that was really fun for me and something that I wanted to sort of show girls that, yeah, whatever your body looks like, whoever you are inside, those two things can be the same and it's all really great. The other one was my friend Michelle, who is very, very tall, is very, very thin, but doesn't have any sort of curves. She has very small breasts, she has very square hips, and she always felt like it made her less feminine somehow, like she wasn't pretty enough because she didn't have, you know, this very like fine nose, she didn't have curvy breasts, she doesn't have much of a butt, you know? And so she always made a big deal about how she's like, oh, I'm built like a boy, even though she was thin. So being thin doesn't necessarily mean that women feel like they fit that either, which I think is upsetting because it makes us this just moving target that's impossible for anyone to hit. The idea that we should have to hit it, I think, is sort of ridiculous, but the fact that it's impossible to hit is just such a problem. And so to show the other end of that too, where because she has this sort of sleekness to her, she's very into graphic design. She's actually an interior designer right now. She really likes, you know, geometry. She loves, we have cats together, or we did for a while, we were roommates. She loves cats. She loves just like cool, sleek, sarcastic stuff. She's very chic. So to pull that through and to say like, yeah, you have this body type that fits this other thing, and that's also super cool. You know, it shouldn't be a moving target in the sense that it's one thing everybody's trying to hit and is always going to miss. It should be sort of an all-encompassing target in that, like, everybody's hitting it. Lately I've been reading a lot about something called girly feminism that came around right around in like 1995, maybe a little bit earlier, 1990 I think, which was basically a lot of women, it's sort of a less crass, more encompassing version of doomy feminism. This idea that, you know, feminists aren't ugly, unshaven legs man-haters. This idea that like femininity is a performance and people can choose to perform being feminine however they want and still be a feminist. You know, shaving your legs doesn't make you less of a feminist for it. This idea that liking Barbies, liking clothes, liking babies, wanting to be a stay-at-home mom, none of that makes you less of a feminist than only wanting to play soccer and wanting to be president and not wanting kids. Those things that we associate with traditional femininity, with being girly, and, you know, liking your body, liking to dress up, makeup, stuff like that, that doesn't invalidate feminist thought any more than any of the other activities.